Brilliance Audio presents With Honor and Purpose by Phil Kerby and Glenn Garvin, performed by Mel Foster. The tension in the colonel's voice startled me. When I asked if the National Guard was keeping Soviet tanks on a camp in the middle of Michigan hunting country, I was prepared for scorn, sarcasm, disbelief, but not anxiety. "Who told you about that?" he demanded. Somebody who's planning to blow them up," I replied. There was a long silence on the other end of the phone. "Tell me about it," the colonel finally asked. I thought about the snitch who walked into an FBI office that morning. Twitching and fidgeting like a bundle of nerves, he took several hours to tell his story in lurching fits and starts. He identified himself finally as a counterintelligence officer for the Michigan militia, a shadowy far right-wing paramilitary group active in the state's northern counties. The militia had learned there were 4 Russian tanks at Camp Grueling, the giant 700,000-acre base in northern Michigan where most of the Midwest's National Guard units trained. And, certain that the tanks were the advance guard of a foreign invasion, it was an article of faith to the militia that the U.S. government was riddled with traitors who intended to turn the country over to a conspiracy guided by the United Nations and international bankers. The militia had decided to raid Camp Grueling and blow them up with homemade C4 explosive. And if anyone at the base tries to stop them, any military police or someone like that, they've been given orders to kill, the man said. That was why he had come in. Blowing up Russian tanks was one thing, but he wasn't at all certain about the patriotism of killing American soldiers. Quickly, I sketched out the snitch's story. "Now, tell me about the tanks," I asked the colonel, because, frankly, we thought the guy was probably crazy. "No, he's right," the colonel said. "I guess I really shouldn't be surprised that people know about it. We're not really keeping it secret anymore. Force of habit, I guess." It was called Operation Chicken Little. For years, the Pentagon had been shipping to Camp Grueling tanks captured or purchased from Soviet client states. There, U.S. military pilots came from all over the Midwest to practice shooting at the tanks with radar gun sights that were programmed to lock onto a particular vehicle's profile. The training had proven its worth during the Gulf War, when American helicopters were able to make armored mincemeat out of Iraq's Russian-made tanks. The Iraqis must really have thought the sky was falling. Throughout the Cold War, Operation Chicken Little had been shrouded in government secrecy, with the tanks delivered under wraps in the middle of the night. With the collapse of the Soviet Union, the program's cover had been dropped, and one of the Michigan militia's nutball followers had seen some of the tanks on a flat car at a railroad siding in Bay City, 1.5 hours south of the camp. "There's something else you should know, too," the colonel added. "A couple of weeks ago, I got a letter from some guy who claimed to be the commander-in-chief of the Michigan militia. He ordered me to vacate the camp and turn it over to the Michigan militia. There wasn't any explicit 'or else' in the letter, but you could certainly read it between the lines." I knew what he meant. For the past couple of years, I had been watching the growth of the militia and other far-right groups with increasing unease. They had guns, explosives, we'd helped local cops bust up a bomb factory the year before, and an overabundance of hatred. As far as I was concerned, they were damned dangerous, although not everyone at the Bureau shared my opinion. "When is this attack on the tank supposed to happen?" the colonel asked. "Any time during a 2-week window that begins February 12th at 7 p.m., I said. The man gave us the names of 3 militia members who are supposedly part of the advance team for the raid. We're trying to find them. and I'll see about getting some help for you at Camp Grayling.